everyone. So this is not a Babble Reel video. This is going on my personal account. I haven't done one of these in a really, really long time. For those of you that don't know who I am, and you just clicked on it, I am Sochi MLPZ. That is my name. I am the owner and producer of the Babble Reel, the Reel of Ballroom Blitz, XLMPAA, XML Productions. All of that is my creation, they're my projects, and there's much, much more to come. But here on my personal channel is where I started doing YouTube videos when I started my whole web experience. And one of the first things that I started doing was some comedy bits. I didn't really know what was funny and what was funny to other people. I was just doing what I thought was funny to me, and I thought that like-minded people would understand the humor. But it was weird because I was like poking fun at people with fetishes and that kind of thing. But then it sort of didn't catch on, and I tried all the things, the fitness and makeup and giving tips and advice, because at the time I worked out a lot. I was in the best shape of my life. I had a six-pack, a lot of muscle built in my arms and my legs, and wanted to help people get in shape. Since then, I've gained a lot of weight, and there's lots of reasons for that, but that's not what we're here talking about today. I wanted to come on this sort of show podcast thing to discuss one of the other things that I've discussed on this channel is my mental health issues and experiences with doctors, hospitals, medications, etc. So where I started talking about my mental health issues, I was talking about how I became aware of the fact that there was something really, really wrong, and how it all started for me and why I started needing medications. So if you haven't watched the videos, don't go back. They're really old. They're long, long time ago. But one of the things that has has occurred to me recently is in all of my dance classes, my teacher training and lessons, there's less sensitive people to the things that I experience in my more recent classes, the things that I've been doing more recently. I have recognized that at Arthur Murray, I don't really know that it's the corporation or the business or the owner of that particular studio. I think it's really just me and my former teacher, Wesley, were really, it was easy for us to get along. We had some, a really good rapport, and so it was easy for me to be there regardless of the drama surrounding me. I just really loved being around Wes. But more recently, I'm sorry, this is going to be a long one because I'll have to keep explaining everything like that, and there might be some back and forth here, just a warning. So recently I've realized that people have been noticing more and more one of my symptoms that I go through. And so I don't know the name of the symptom. It's really long. I can't pronounce it. I've heard it a dozen times. My doctor has mentioned it to me. It's sort of on my record, my medical records, but I don't know how to say it. But the thing about it is that I know I'm not the only one that goes through this, which is why I wanted to do this particular video, because I've also realized that it is happening not just to me, but to certain superstars, people on TV and film, and they talk about it a little bit, but not quite as much, or not in a way to make people really understand. So what it is, and I'll tell you why mine is different than theirs, or what I think about that. What it is these changes, these sort of facial and body changes that makes people look different. And more recently, I've been going through it really, I won't say badly, but I've been going through it a lot. And it's very noticeable sometimes. I'll just tell you, I've been experiencing these symptoms since around 2012, I think, maybe 2011. It's been a long time since I've had these symptoms. It got worse probably in the last 5 years or so. And what I mean by that is that I don't really remember the last time I have actually seen my real face. I mean, this is what I look like. Like, I recognize myself on camera. I know it's me because I'm the one talking and I'm the one doing this video. This is very close to what I've looked like as a young girl, young being under 10 years old. I'll show you right here. I have some pictures. Whoops. And whoops. Everything's going crazy. Okay, so I have this, and it's holding up everything, so it's gonna make a mess. But these are my baby pictures, and if I could take them out, I would have scanned them. That's my brother. I would have scanned them so you could see, but I can't take them out of here. I think they're stickered. They're like taped on or something. So, see, my face is very similar right now to what I look like in this baby picture, in this picture here. But let me put this back. Hold on. But I grew up and I've been experiencing these symptoms, as everybody does. I think there's people that go through this a lot growing up, and they think that it's part of, getting taller, some sort of spurt that it makes them look different because they've grown. Well, I didn't grow very tall, so I didn't change very much, but I did have one day when I was like 12 years old. I was in the middle of my 7th grade year, and from one minute to the next, there was a significant change, and my mom and her husband told me that I had just had a spurt, and it was weird to me because I looked so different. Just if you go on my Facebook account, that's what I looked like from the moment when I was a really dark little girl into that photo in Facebook, and that's the face that I had for like the majority of my adulthood and my teenage years. But what happened is I lost about 10 shades, or I would say at least 5 shades of skin color. I got extremely light-skinned almost overnight, and it was very strange to people. I've not been diagnosed for vitiligo, but it does run in my family. 2 of my aunts have vitiligo, and I have like a little white spot on my scalp right here. So I think that maybe it's that, the reason why I lost some skin color. And it comes and it goes. In the summer, obviously, I can still tan, but I can't be in the sun. I can't like go sunbathing because it actually hurts me a little bit. I feel stingy in the sun if I've been out there too long without, a good amount of sunscreen or a hat or long sleeves or something. So I'm careful about that. But in any case, I didn't develop these symptoms very badly till much later in life. And here's what happened. This is the full story. Starting now, yes, it's been 11 minutes. I'm sorry. If you're interested in this thing, and I'll have the name, I'll look it up and type it in the name of this video. So I did not have any symptoms in my brain or my mind. Nothing was going on. I was once a songwriter, developing songs inside of my mind. I could hear the music. I could write the lyrics. I was very prolific, constantly writing all night in the dark. I would wake up in the morning and everything would be, it wouldn't be legible. Like I wouldn't be able to read it, even my own handwriting, because I would be literally writing in the dark, trying to get these thoughts out of my mind. And that seems weird. That sounds pretty weird, right? But that's how songwriters are. We get an idea and we have to get it out. Oftentimes I would come home from like a 16-hour day of working 2 jobs, and I would just be like listening to music and trying to write, because that's the career that I wanted when I was in my early 20s. Well, when I was 30, I had nothing but free time, and maybe that's the problem, I don't know, but I couldn't access that sort of part of my brain that allowed me to do that. And I wasn't able to, quote unquote, connect with people to collaborate with certain things and ideas for that purpose anymore. So I had a doctor's appointment. My mom took me to the doctor, and she was just giving my physical, and I said, this is weird thing, like, is this normal? I can't hear the things in my mind anymore. I don't hear anything. Is that normal? Like, I can't connect. I can't get through. Like before, I used to have this telepathy thing, and it would help me write songs, and I can't do that anymore. Well, she asked me a series of questions. Do you hear voices? No, it's that I'm not hearing things. It's not that I'm hearing voices, it's that I'm not hearing things. I don't, like what's happening in my talent is there's something else wrong with me that can cause that kind of a thing. And is there some other symptom that is affecting me and my sort of creativity, something else, right? And of course, I was thinking ADHD. I was thinking a tumor. My grandpa died of a brain tumor, brain cancer. And so I was kind of worried. Oh my God, like what if that's happening to me? If you watch the last episode of my show, you'll see that I went to the doctor for that as well. I do not have brain cancer. I'm fine. There's no tumor in my brain. But I was checked for that because they weren't sure. After 10 years of being on medications for mental illness called schizophrenia, they finally decided to test me for a brain tumor, which is what I asked for in my first appointment, and regarding these issues. So instead, my doctor put me on depression medication, a little blue pill. And I did not want to say, I was like, what do you mean? Like, I've heard of that. I've never been depressed in my life. I'm not crying in the corner of my bed and hoping to die and like dreaming of committing suicide. That's not me. I just want to write songs. When I hear the music again, what's going on? And she said, well, if this continues, I'm like, if what continues? Well, if this continues, then that means that there's a different problem going on. Just take this medication and maybe it will help. I guess her idea was that it will open up my mind, heal whatever's going on inside of there with my serotonin and whatever, and make it easier for me to create. I don't really know. She didn't explain it very well. I assumed that. And I took the blue pill for like 5 days. Not even 2 days, and I was experiencing weird things. I was seeing visuals, which is normal. You visualize stuff. I didn't pass as like, I'm a little bit too imaginative today. I started hearing voices that I assumed was like, oh, I am getting it back, but I was hearing like all of my neighbors and the people at the grocery store. And after 5 days, those little visuals were starting to take a life of their own. They were just doing things, and I was no longer in control of them. And I was like, okay, this is weird. Either somebody else has entered my brain, or I have just literally gone insane. I mean, it felt like I was on shrooms. I've never taken shrooms, but I assumed that that's what it was like. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. At the time, I was totally a sober person for at least 2 years at the time. I hadn't even had a drink in 2 years. And they put me on this heavy depression medication. My mind didn't like it. And what I know about this, because schizophrenia does run in my family, but I have a theory about it. I don't think that it's really something that's genetic in just certain families. I think it's genetic to everybody. Some people are triggered and some people are not. Families that don't have as many people who have that, who are easily triggered for this illness, are just nicer to each other, more supportive of each other, and there's less stress within the family, meaning there's probably less people in it, and they're more independent. Of course, the harder our lifestyles are, the easier it is for us to be triggered, but I don't think that there's like a family on this planet that doesn't have it in their blood, in some part of their DNA. It's just a matter of how much you can take. That's what I think. That's my theory. I'm not a doctor, but I've been experiencing this a long time and talking to a lot of people and going through therapy groups and trying to figure out, what does this to me? Because I'm pretty much normal. I do all the normal things. But so anyway, the blue pill, after 2 weeks, I had it. I was like, I can't take this medication anymore. I know that it's now gone too far. I don't know if I'll ever get back to it again. So I got off of these blue pills. I had some back issues because I pulled up the carpet from my house. We were doing some reconstruction. I wanted a new floor, and the only way to convince my mom to fix the floor is if I pulled up the carpet. So I did it myself. It was very heavy. It was a lot of work. I was only about 110 pounds, and I hurt my back, injured my back very, very badly. I went to the hospital one night. I asked my mom to take me to the hospital. It was like midnight, and I was telling them about my back, and I was like, there's this other thing, and they asked me about the medications, and I said, I'm not on them anymore. It's this weird, like, conspiracy thing. If you've watched videos on this channel from previously, you'll know that I was a songwriter, and a lot of my songs in my notebooks, with about 100 songs in each notebook, were stolen from me. And that's happened multiple times. So it's like, it's a conspiracy. You know, it's this thing in the music industry that people steal, thievery. Everybody knows about it. The president knows about it. Beyonce knows about it. And, you know, ask anybody. And this is the thing that I'm going through, and they put me on depression medications. Like, how does that make sense? I'm not depressed. I just want to create. And the emergency room doctor heard conspiracy and president in the same sentence and freaked out. There's a law, I guess, against that states that if that happens, they have to put you in for evaluation and basically imprison you for a few days, put you to sleep for a little while. Then when you wake up, you'll be speaking to agents asking you about what the fuck you're talking about, excuse my language. And so that happened to me. That was not part of the conspiracy. That's just the law. That's what happens. It's called 5150. I had suddenly tried to go to the bathroom, which was, you know, I don't know, 20, 30 feet away. They didn't want to let me out of the room. Suddenly 6 people were in the room grabbing a hold of my body, and I freaked out. I was not on drugs or medications at the time. I freaked out. I was like, what the hell? Why is everybody touching me? And I started fighting back. I saw a needle, and I went crazy. I wouldn't let them get me, and so there was a big fight between me and 6, you know, hospital attendants or doctors, nurses, and they had to literally throw me. I jumped, and they threw me up in the air and like slammed me on the bed, and I couldn't breathe. It knocked the wind out of me, and then they shot my arm. Within seconds, I was getting woozy. But at that point, because I was so woozy, they were tying me up to the bed, and I looked at the guy tying me up to the bed, and my arm was literally like this. I was like, you know, this is very unnecessary. I didn't do anything for this to happen to me. And you guys are going to find that out a little bit too late, but also you're breaking my arm. He was breaking my arm. I had an arm injury. After that, bruises and cuts. I had never been on drugs in my life, and they put me under for 3 days. I couldn't wake up. I was waking up, going out, waking up, going out for 3 days. And the 3rd day, I woke up in a hospital. And I was speaking to one of the other people that was in there, and clearly I was in a place for people with serious issues. And I mean, they were nice to me, but I was just concerned about, you know, wow, how did I get in this situation? Just talking about my career, just trying to talk to my doctors about my issues in my mind and how it's affecting my career is put me in a mental facility and passed out for 3 days. It was a very traumatic experience for me. But so after that, they did have the agents come in and ask me about what I was talking about, and I didn't want to talk to them anymore. I was just rambling about nonsense because I was like, I'm not going to tell you anymore because I don't even know what it is you're here to talk to me about. Just that I mentioned that the president knows about these little conspiracies that happen, but, you know, basically music thieves, artist thieves. They happen all of the time. And they kind of went, this isn't anything important, and they left. And I was like, well, wait a minute, you're leaving. Can I leave? Why am I here if this is so not important? And they didn't like my attitude. So the doctor was instructed to force me to take medications before I was, in order to leave the premises, I had to swallow 3 pills. And I told them, this is ridiculous. Whatever you gave me knocked me out for 3 days. Now you want to medicate me on stuff. You gave me medication in the first place that landed me here. Secondly, you put me to sleep for 3 days, and now you want to give me medications. I don't even know what they are, but you're just prescribing them for me for the sake, just to let me out the door. And then what? It's not a long-term prescription. You're just drugging me. That's so messed up. Like, this has got to be illegal. What is going on here? My mom came in, barged in like boss, you know, and she's like, what's going on with my daughter? I want her to be able to come home now. What do you think you're doing? She doesn't need these medications. And she had this long conversation with this doctor, telling her that she's worked with lifers in prison. She's never seen anything like this. This is ridiculous. And so on. So they wouldn't let me out. I tried to figure out how I could get that pill in my mouth without swallowing it. I was like, so dumb. I feel like after school special. This is so dumb. That's what I said to the lady that gave me the pills, and she just handed them to me. And then she said, let me see your tongue, stick it out, and put it up, stick it out. Let me see the inside of your cheeks. And I was like, okay, so I really have to swallow these? And she said, yes, you really have to swallow them. And so I tried putting it in my hand while I swallowed, and she said, let me see your hand. And I was like, oh my God, like I couldn't get away from them. I'm not skilled at this sneaky way of pretending to take pills, right? But I really tried like 3 times and it didn't work. They didn't like that either. So I took the damn things and I went home drugged. I don't remember what happened a week after that. I was just so tired of the drugs. I just needed like a week of recovery because I don't know what happened to me, right? So that's how I ended up on medications that completely destroyed my life. And I think that Kaiser Permanente, knows exactly what they did and exactly what they did wrong. And although they were just following the government's rules, that they probably made the call a little bit too quick without actually listening to what I was saying. But then what happened is that I was forced to see a therapist to evaluate whether or not I needed to see a psychiatrist. So I went and I told her the same things. Of course, a smart person, not that I'm not smart, but I was just like, I just want to create music. This is what I used to be able to do. And so you used to hear voices, songs, like voices, like singing, like music. Why is this so hard to explain? And I see like the music and shapes, something similar to what Kanye West has described, but I no longer see them. I feel them and I know what they look like because I've been doing that for years. It was my own way of developing a new way to write music, write and read music, because there was no way to write and read electronic style music. That it was all, whether, piano, guitar, whatever, piano, guitar, drums, and what I was hearing was not that. And so I wanted a way to write and read that music. So I was developing this different thing. And that was way back in 20. I started doing that early 2000s, 2000, maybe 1999, something like that. And even before then, in 1996, 97, I was writing music by numbers and lines, because I am familiar with traditional music songwriting, traditional, I don't know, so that's why I do that, right? But anyway, I did learn how to play the piano a little bit when I was younger, so I can read music a little bit, is what I'm saying. And I'm familiar with that, but it's a thing that doesn't resonate with a lot of people in the new sounds of music. So I was developing something new at the time, and those notebooks have been stolen from me. But anyway, moving on from coming home from the hospital and going into my next therapy appointment, having to be seen by then a psychiatrist to discuss what medications to be on. I was like, medications? I just got off medication. I don't want medications. Okay, I've never been on medications. In my life, I've never been on medications for anything. I don't even like taking Tylenol. I don't like to drink. I'm not a shroomer. This stuff, my body, my mind doesn't like it. And he said, well, we could try to kill everything that you got going on with you really quickly. Just put you on the heaviest stuff. Try to eliminate all of the symptoms altogether and give you something really, really heavy for about a 6-month period. If it works, great, and we can gradually get you off of it. I was like, that sounds horrific. And then he said, or we could get you on something that you just take every day and possibly for the rest of your life. And so I didn't really make one decision or the other. He was like, it's, if you really don't think that it's something that you have because of genetics or that you've developed for lifestyle or whatever, then let's try this way. And he prescribed me this medication called Haldol. Haldol is the strongest schizophrenic medication for schizophrenia and mental health issues on the planet. That it comes with a second pill called Cogentin to prevent these side effects that comes with Haldol that can possibly kill you if you don't take that second pill every single time you take the Haldol. You have to take them together, and you have to take them with food. So I started gaining weight because I was eating too much food. I went from 98 pounds. So I didn't have money for food. I went from 98 pounds to blown up 150 pounds in 6 months. Really, really fat, really fast. And it was painful to gain that much weight that quickly for me because I was so used to being fit all of my life. But this pill has a side effect that I didn't read the papers on the pill until 6 months later when I was feeling really out of it. I was so drugged for 6 months. I was kind of just laying on the floor most of the time in my house, just drooling, like feeling like this all day. That's what I did for 6 months, waiting for this thing to go away. And it did diminish the symptoms pretty quickly. But when I stopped taking it, when it started wearing off, they came back stronger. I was like, this isn't working anymore. It's not working. It's actually making it worse. But the side effects of the medication are clearly say that it can cause the sensation of movements, something moving around inside of your face and body, mainly your face, and can cause significant changes once you start experiencing, it says in the thing, once you start experiencing these symptoms, even if you stop taking the medications, those symptoms can be permanent. And I just remember when I read permanent, that's all I was hearing for like 5 minutes. Permanent, 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 permanent. My immediate thought, I've just fucked up my whole life. I've just screwed myself. I've flushed my life down the fucking toilet with this stupid ass doctor. I will never recover from this, basically. I have to experience this weird thing for the rest of my life. And I cried about it. Then, imagine like if you were never depressed before, how depressed you could have been after that. I don't know that it was really suicidal, but my mental illness, whatever the medication had caused inside of my brain, was getting worse and worse and worse every day for about 5 years. And I couldn't, I went back to the hospital two more times because I had not yet been diagnosed. I still had not yet been diagnosed. I was on medications for schizophrenia, but the diagnosis was not given to me or my mother until the third time that I went to the hospital. It should have been clear, they'll just say that should have been clear because we were giving you the medications. They didn't tell us what was wrong with me until I went to the hospital the third time. I said, clearly something's wrong. I can handle this. What is it? Just diagnose me because I don't know what's going on. I can't figure it out on my own. You guys are the doctors. And they said, you have schizophrenia. I was like, that's not a possibility. This is a different thing that's happening here, is not what you're thinking. It's causing me to act weird because it's like hurting the inside of my nasal passages and changing my voice because of the way it affects my jaw and my mouth and my teeth. And I look like I'm expressing myself differently because I can't open my eyes sometimes. Sometimes they're humongous. I have really big eyes anyways. But when they get significantly bigger, it's like, whoa, those are huge. So it changes everything. The way that you act, the way that you react, the way people think you're reacting because of the expressions on your face. And they called it schizophrenia. It wasn't until almost 5 years after that a different doctor was speaking to me differently. Basically, we know something went wrong here, but here's the thing about it. No matter who figures it out, another doctor, an old doctor, someone else that still works here can still go into your records and delete anything that they want to. These records are not, like protected files. We can do anything we want to them. We can erase what we want to and add what we want to. I was like, why are you telling me that? Well, what are you trying to say? Now you're creating a conspiracy theory in my mind now that I'm going through these schizophrenic symptoms and I have these weird, odd facial changes caused by the freaking schizophrenic medications. Help me understand why you would say that to me. So my mom had been going to every single doctor's appointment, writing down. She decided to write everything that happens, everything down for her own records because she didn't know what was going on either. And I had her at every therapy appointment, every psychiatrist, which is supposed to be private. I was like, no, she's coming with me. She's going to sit there with me and she's going to write everything down. And she went to my physicals with me. Every appointment that I had with the doctor, she was with me for 12 years. To this day, I go to the doctor now, but it's a regular doctor. I know her really well. I've been with her for a couple of years now, and I've developed a relationship with her, so I can go and see her by myself. But I'm still not comfortable going to see a psychiatrist. In fact, I haven't seen one for years. They just call me on the phone and ask me how I'm doing, ask me if my medications are still working, and that's it. They don't bother me anymore because of how well I've been doing for the past couple of years. So I haven't needed an appointment, but this symptom that is noticeable in person, different situations, the changing of my face and my body does affect my dancing. I'm a dancer, I'm a performer, I'm an artist, singer, actress, writer. It affects my dancing. And I was really, really afraid to get into acting, which was my dream, because I stuck to music and dancing rather than acting to make a name for myself, to make it easier for me to get into acting, because I knew that the changes that I experienced were so great, so big, so much that it could affect whether or not I could keep a job. But I saw Jada Pinkett going through something similar in a movie, and I saw some other Latinas going through something similar in their projects. And then mostly it happens in their personal time on interviews and whatever, but not so much during shoots because they're well protected at those times. But the safer your environment, the less you experience that part of your brain that wants to mess with you, you know. But also because Selena Gomez takes medication for lupus and has probably also been prescribed medications for depression and something else, maybe. I don't know. These are not facts. I'm just guessing that it's possible. But I think a lot of these medications for those things have this as a side effect, and that it's possible that that's happening to her. I've seen changes happen in people who are not medicated, and so it leads me to believe the legalizing of weed has really been causing with 2020, the effects of 2020 has caused a pandemic of, is it pandemic or epidemic of people, you know, experience a lot of mental health issues. And because of Zoom being on YouTube and TikTok all over the time, they're experiencing a lot of changes because they're not really seeing themselves for who they are, which is a completely and totally different thing than how I got this. What they have is possibly curable, can be easier probably for them to deal with than mine, because mine physically, I mean, it's painful what I go through because of the medications is painful. I'm in pain majority of the time, and it's usually in my face. And because of my back injury and the small amount of damage, I don't think my liver is damaged, but the small amount of damage the liver goes through because I'm on medications, I've been on medication so long, has caused a little bit of atrophy in my legs. Not a lot. I eat a lot of protein, I lift weights, I exercise, but I've lost where I used to be a real pear shape. I've lost a lot of mass in the bottom half of my body. And that's just due to that side effect. And then also what medications do to your liver over time. And then also I'm getting older, but that doesn't usually happen to women until they've reached over 60, really. But it's starting to happen to me now, and it's painful. I'm in pain a lot of the time. It definitely affects my dancing, as I was saying before. Going into competition is the worst. It's high stress, depending on how my personal relationships are with my instructor and my mom during that time, during those days, during that week or the weeks prior. If it's really, really stressful for everybody, I go through it worse in competition. And if everybody's cool, I've had experiences where like everybody's being really supportive and they think I could do it, and it doesn't matter if I win or not, they're being there for me, and my brain doesn't hurt me quite as much. So the symptoms are less. I still experience them. But yeah, so I developed schizophrenia through medications. It's not something that I've had since I was born, although it does run in my family. I was triggered about 31 years old because it was easy to be triggered for me because I had never been on drugs before. And although I did used to drink a lot in my younger years, I had stopped drinking, I didn't do drugs, I didn't take Tylenol, and so the drugs really were strong for me. It was not something my body was used to and didn't like it, and so I ended up with the worst side effects that lasted the rest of my life, basically. But so they call me high-functioning schizophrenic. I can do a lot of things that normal people do. Normal, whatever that is. And because I'm on medications for two things, one is my mental illness and the other is high blood pressure. The stresses of having to live a normal life with other people that don't know what I'm going through, and then when they find out, they don't care. And I face a lot of discrimination, a lot of teasing, and people don't like it when somebody with a disability is better than them at something. So they do what they can to prevent that. And I'm sensitive to it at this point. I'm really sensitive to it, and it works. You know, your attitudes, and I don't want to disappoint people. I don't want people to be angry with me. I don't want people to hate me. So I'm affected by it internally, but on the outside, I have an attitude and I'll snap back, you know, but obviously I'm having some issues dealing with this because it's affecting me in competition. It's affecting me in test days. It's affecting me on my face or my facial changes. And that's not just because of dance. It's just random. Sometimes it's just anything. Standing in the line at Pollo Loco, which I love. The people at Pollo Loco here, the one that I go to is my favorite. All the people there are really nice to me. But it's just an example, okay? So standing in line somewhere or walking down the street, I will experience something that I think like comes from hatred across the way. And I'm like, what the hell? Am I wearing the wrong color? Why is this happening to me? Why do they look at me like that? So it's not like this paranoia, everybody hates me, the whole world is against me, but people really do look at me funny just walking around town sometimes. And I shove it off, like, you know, whatever. But I want people to understand that you don't know what others are going through, because there's a lot of us that live normal lives and you have no clue the pain that we're in mentally, emotionally, and physically, and then also that we have to take medications and live the same lifestyle that everybody else is living. However, we are exhausted, tired and drowsy, and it's crazy how much more I get done than the average person with, you know, a lack of sleep. When I can't sleep, I really do just lay in bed a long time. I don't actually do very much when I can't sleep. But it's when I have slept that it's like I wake up after 10 hours of sleep and I'm like, do everything all at once. And I wear myself out. And so it's amazing to me how much that I understand that I get so much more done than the average person on any given day, that I actually get some sleep, that I need my medications to put me to sleep sometimes. And I appreciate that I have them for that. I was they're not prescription drugs, but sleeping medications. I was told to take them. I took Benadryl. I'm allergic to Benadryl. It almost killed me. And I have a ton of food allergies. It's just like, you have no idea what this is like for me behind the scenes of all of this stuff. And I just wanted to talk about this because I've been going to class lately where I know people are a little bit weirded out by what they're seeing, the changes that they are seeing on my face. That freaks people out a little bit, how much it is instantaneously or overnight or from one day to the next. And I just want to say, you're going to have to get used to that. This may be the first time that you're seeing it that much, and it might just be like my high stress situation right now. But I have noticed that it's happening more often than not lately too. So I wanted to talk about it. And I also want to let people know that although I do go through a lot, I am going through a lot of pain. That's my life. There's nothing I can do about it now. There's not a lot that can make it better, except for like rest and water and sleep and, the usual. So I'm okay. I'm not dying. If I'm dying, I'll let you know, but I'm okay. I just have some extra stuff to deal with. So everybody goes through work stress or family stress. I have a shitload of other stresses to go through, and it's just the thing that I live with. It's just the thing that I live with. Some people are missing both legs, and this is what I got. So yeah. I don't know how many of you support me, how many people in my life really like me. I don't care even. But if you do care about me and or concerned, I thank you for your kind thoughts and support. If not, then, and I'll see you later. Have a good day, guys. I may or may not make this a podcast, but this is some of the stuff that I just talk about on this channel. Sometimes I wanted people to be aware, raise awareness of this particular symptom, that it's not just a symptom of schizophrenia. A lot of people experience it, and it's not just a mental health issue. A lot of times it is just brought on by a medication that or drug that people are unaware of the side effects of, and they take it anyways. So it's happening to a lot of people, and it's important, I think, that people understand a little bit about what that is. If you have any questions, shoot them in the comments. I'll try to answer them the best that I can based on my own experience. Yeah, and I try to keep it kind. I don't want all of the, crappy comments and, insults and trash talking. I can take it, actually. It's funny, but please don't do that, because this is a serious topic and a lot of people go through it. I hope it's not you. If it is you, you're not alone. See you later. Bye-bye.